Hello and welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are tackling something that is honestly so frustrating for almost every language learner out there. But here's the good news. It is completely solvable. Today we're focusing on how to transform passive studying into active conversational fluency. We're going to walk through the exact daily habits, the tools, and the mindsets you need to stop just knowing English in your head and start actually speaking it with total confidence.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I really want you to ask yourself a crucial question. Why do we study for years but completely freeze when we try to speak? I mean, it's so valid to feel annoyed by this. You know all the grammar rules, you've memorized tons of vocabulary, but the second you need to communicate under pressure, your mind just goes totally blank. Well, you are definitely not alone. It happens because we treat speaking like we're watching a sport, but fluency is actually a muscle. It needs real physical training.
The team over at Easy English Talk really hit the nail on the head when talking about this problem. They say native speakers make mistakes sometimes too, but they continue speaking because communication is more important than perfection. You see, the fear of judgment and trying to be absolutely perfect are the biggest mental blocks stopping your progress. You're probably waiting for the perfect moment or trying to build the perfect sense in your head, but real conversations, they just don't wait. Perfect is literally the enemy of fluent.
So the root of the issue really comes down to passive versus active learning. On the left side, we have passive learning. That's watching Netflix with subtitles, silently reading grammar textbooks, or just listening to people talk. Now, don't get me wrong, this builds great comprehension, but it completely fails to train your mouth's speaking muscle. To fix this, you have to shift to active learning. These are techniques like shadowing, the 60-second rule, and narrating your daily routines out loud. You simply must move your mouth to build that muscle memory.
And this brilliantly illustrates how to avoid language burnout. It all comes down to how you schedule your time. In online learning communities like the Language Hub on Reddit, a huge consensus is formed. Consistency beats intensity. People found that short daily consistency totally stops the burnout that comes from those massive 3-hour weekend study sessions. Cramming just doesn't work for fluency. Your brain needs daily, repeated exposure to build those quick reflexes for conversations.
So, how much time do you actually need? Well, look at this number. 15. Honestly, it's shocking, but just 15 to 30 minutes of focused daily practice is enough to create real, noticeable speaking improvements in just 2 weeks. You absolutely do not need a 5-hour daily routine. You just need a quarter of an hour of highly focused, active speaking practice. That is enough to start completely rewiring how your brain processes English.
To get those 15 minutes right, we are going to use something I absolutely love. It's called the Solo Practice Toolkit. These techniques come straight from the Ingvarta training protocols, and they are highly actionable. They're designed to help you build your baseline speaking reflexes entirely at home, all by yourself. You don't even need a speaking partner for this part. So, let's break down exactly what you should be doing.
First up is a core technique called shadowing. This is where you repeat what a native speaker says, word for word, in real time, but with a tiny half-second delay. You aren't just reading along, you are mimicking their pace, their melody, and exactly where they put stress on certain words. This is so incredibly powerful because it actually bypasses your brain's slow translation process. Instead, it directly trains your mouth to make the right sounds at a natural, native speed.
Next up is the magic number 60, which stands for the 60-second topic rule. Here's how it works. Pick any random topic. It could be your weekend, your favorite food, or your future goals. Set a timer and speak out loud for exactly 1 minute without ever stopping. The golden rule here, you cannot stop to correct your grammar mistakes. If you stumble, you just push right through it. This trains your brain to prioritize forward motion and actual communication rather than freezing up just to find the perfect word.
If you want to turn this into a daily routine, just follow these 3 simple steps. Step 1. Read an English article out loud at a normal speaking pace. Step 2. Open the voice memo app on your phone and record yourself answering just one simple interview or conversational question, totally unscripted. And step 3, which is absolutely vital, listen back to that recording the next morning. Listening to yourself a day later is the best, most practical way to catch your own hidden filler words and mistakes without needing a live coach.
Another amazing tool in your toolkit is self-narration. A really great example of this is a language student named Elisa. She lives alone, and to practice, she constantly narrates her daily chores in English. So while she's washing dishes or making breakfast, she describes out loud exactly what she is doing. She even practices speaking and thinking in English on her morning bus commute. It's brilliant because it turns ordinary dead time into active, productive practice time. Let's move to and see how this builds into something even stronger using modern technology. We're talking about AI as your practice partner. When you don't have a human speaking partner available, artificial intelligence can brilliantly fill that gap. The best part? It offers instant, completely zero judgment feedback anytime you want.
The FEA digital learning curriculum actually outlines some specific, super actionable prompts you can use. For instance, you can open tools like ChatGPT or Gemini and type, "Give me 3 topics to speak on." I will speak, then you give me my CFR fluency score and a sample response. It instantly gives you structured, personalized practice. And if you struggle with specific pronunciation hurdles, tools like Elsa Speak are absolutely incredible. They help you drill difficult sounds like the th or v sounds, and they give you real-time visual feedback to show if you're getting it right.
So, the cursor point is this number right here, 8. You see, by week 6 to week 8 of purely solo practice, you are going to hit a wall. It is a hard, unavoidable fluency plateau. Solo practice is fantastic for building your foundation, absolutely. But eventually, you max out the benefits of just talking to yourself or to an AI.
So, how do you actually know when you've hit this plateau? Well, here are the classic signs. Your solo voice recordings sound really great, but your first sentences with a real stranger are still shaky and nervous. You might find you can answer rehearsed questions perfectly, but you completely freeze up when they ask an unexpected follow-up question. And finally, you just start losing the motivation to practice all by yourself. But hey, it's totally okay that this happens. It just means you are finally ready to level up to the next step.
The reason this plateau happens at all is because solo practice and live practice train completely different skills. Solo practice builds your vocabulary recall, perfects your pronunciation, and creates that basic muscle memory we talked about. But live practice, that is entirely different. It builds your conversational fluency under social stress and trains your real-time reflexes. Solo practice just cannot simulate that little bit of nervousness you feel in front of a real human being. Only live practice can help you conquer that conversational anxiety.
To truly master the language, you need what the experts call the ultimate stack. This is the ultimate solution for rapid fluency. It looks like this: a daily 10-minute solo warm-up using those techniques like shadowing or the 60-second rule. Then you pair that with a 15-minute live session with an expert like the tutors on Envarta about 3 times a week. Think of it like this: the solo work keeps your muscles warm, and the live work is what actually breaks through that under-pressure plateau. Which brings us to our final big thought for today. Solo practice builds the muscle, but live practice breaks the plateau. So, what will you speak out loud today? Remember, slow progress is still progress. Every single word you speak out loud is a step toward confidence. Please, don't wait until you feel perfect. Your 15 minutes starts right now. Pick a topic, set that timer for 60 seconds, and just start speaking.